All right, today we'll be replacing and removing the rear rotors and rear brake pads. We will be changing them out. They're worn out, so we'll go ahead. First thing we'll do is go ahead and loosen the lug nuts. Then we'll get this all on jacks. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this car. We're gonna put them all on jacks. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right, next thing we're gonna do is pop the hood, and we're gonna loosen the master cylinder. Reason why we're gonna loosen the master cylinder cap or take it off is because when we push the brake piston back into the caliper, it will push the fluid up. So we wanna go ahead and open up the hood. And it should be right here. So this is the master cylinder right here. Oh, it's actually kind of full. It's kind of hard to see. So if you look in there, that is the master cylinder with the brake fluid. So one thing I do is kind of leave it open, and we'll go from there. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we've got to go ahead and put the vehicle on jacks. So in order for us to take out the brake pads on the rear, we're going to actually remove this one pin that is here. So let me go ahead and remove that pin. So for me to remove that pin, I have a tool here. It's just a pin I'm going to stick in here, and I'm going to hit it out with a hammer. And I'm going to push on this pin so it makes it a little easier to come out. And I'll use this here. And I'll continue to use my pen. And you just want to remember which way this metal clip is facing. So now the pin is out, as well as the clip. So just if you remember, it's going to go in this way with the pin. You should be able to remember pretty easily because it's the only way that it goes. So we got that. We have the brake pads here. And here. So they're a little worn down. You have to remember, the brake pad, the rough side always goes on the inside. And then the smooth side is always on the outside. Next thing I do, I'm going to push these calipers outwards, and that way it will help move the pins outwards. So when we put the new calipers in, it will be a lot easier. So I do have a tool which I am going to use. It's called my disc brake pad spreader. So what I'll go ahead and do, I have one side still in. So once I get it all set up, it'll look like that. And then the old brake pad will push the piston that side that way, and this one on this side. One thing I do gotta keep note of is the level at the master cylinder. So I'm like, so give me a minute, I'm gonna go check on the level of the fluid. And as we can see here, it is getting closer to the top, but it will be fine. And I'll keep spreading this as much as possible. I'll just make it for easier installation later. And let me check it one more time. And it still seems to be okay. Let me try doing it on the other side as well. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and try to compress my brake pads. I'll stick the old brake pad in. And I'll go ahead and C-clamp this. So you can see it's actually compressing the piston towards the brake pad. What I'm going to do next is take a look at the fluid level. See how that looks. As you can see, it's getting close to the top, but still has some room. So now I should be able to get the new brake pad in here with no problem. Just like that. Alright, so I'm going to try to go ahead and remove the bottom bolt, the caliper bolt, with a 16 millimeter. I'm going to use this pipe as an extension, so that way I can get some leverage on it. And I'll go and get the other one. And I hope you can see it's right here, that top one. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and remove the top caliper bolt with a 16 millimeter. Try to use some leverage with this. Here we go. Here's the caliper. And I'll go ahead and hang this. I'll hang it from this spring here. That way we're not messing up the brake line. And next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is more of that torque bolt. And it's really not on there, it's pretty much just trying to hold on the rotor. And this rotor was very rusty, so at the very beginning I did spray some PB Blaster on it. So we'll see how, or if it's going to be easy to come off. And as you can see, this one was very easy to come off. I just like to get some of the brake dust and grime that's accumulated over the probably years since I haven't changed one out. cleaner on here. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and put this rotor in. And it's a Zimmerman rotor. It's zinc plated. I'm going to go ahead and use this for my torque screw. And as well as the reason why there's indentions here, the torque screw will fit. So I'm going to go ahead and use this as my guide. So if you can see, everything lines up. I use that pin punch as a guide and put it in the torque screw. So next thing we'll go ahead and do, I'm going to add a little thread locker to this torque screw. I'm using a T30 torque screw, tying everything up, and you just gotta get it snug. One of this is to hold the rotor in place. You have the long nuts holding it down later on once you put the tire on. Okay. So there we go. That is the installation and replacement of the rear rotor. Now we'll go ahead and get the caliper on. Same thing with this. I'm going to put this in place where it was. So I'm going to let that sit right there. Put some thread locker on this bolt. So go ahead and kind of screw the top one in here first. And we're going to torque everything down to 80 foot/pounds. So that is the top one. Get the bottom. The bottom one in place. Got the top, bottom one, and the top one. I'm gonna go ahead and tie those down to 80 foot/pound. One's kind of long, and then we gotta use the short one. And the next thing I'll probably do real fast is go ahead and put some grease on these pins and the back of these brake pads. Remember, you're always going to do on the smooth side, not the brake pad side. And while this pin is here, I'm just gonna, I'll wait to do the pin. So I'll go ahead and put these brake pads in next. So when you install these, this smooth side will go on the back side. Now we will be able to get this new brake pad in here with no problem. Next, we gotta do the pin, and we'll go like this. Well, first thing I'm gonna go ahead and do, put some brake lubricant. And you can use any kind you want on the pin. This way it just glides easier whenever the brake pads are squeezing. In here, push down. Oh my, adjust. We completed everything. We've got the caliper housing clip. We got the new brake pads in. We got them greased. Alright, everything is in there good. Take a look. Housing clip. Brand new brake pads. So this is the installation of and replacement of a rear rotor along with the rear brake pads. Last thing what I do, I'm just going to torque down this 2 bolts that we had tied earlier. Alright, now that we finished the installation and replacement of the rear rotor, along with the rear new disc pads, we can go ahead and install the tire. Get them to the, jack the wheel back down. I'm going to torque these to 80 foot per pound. Then once you're done jacking the vehicle down, you can go ahead and torque all of these lug nuts. We'll go ahead and torque them to 80 foot per pound. We're gonna go ahead and pump the brakes until they get hard. So right now, as you can tell, it's to the brim. Just do these nice and slow. Check the level. And the max line is to right here. So it all looks pretty good. So pump it a few more times. And now they are nice and firm. That is what we are looking for. So once they are firm, you can go ahead and put the cap back on. All right, that completes the installation and removal and replacement of the rear disc brakes and rear disc pads. So if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up and subscribe.